I feel like this might be an awful place to film because it's apparently Luton Airport's like there. I've had 4 737s go over me in the last 3 minutes. Good morning? No, evening when you'll be watching this, and welcome to a very, very sunny day, but also a bloody cold sunny day. Dangling that carrot of summer. Yet, no, it's not summer, it's 3 degrees. Dave Ashpelt, keep your trousers on, mate. I'm wearing my thermal layer from Halvarssons, and I'm wearing my Gerbing heated jacket as well. Welcome to my Honda 125cc monkey bike. I bought this thing in March of last year. I think it was the first weekend in March. It is now the end of February, so the pedantic amongst you will be like, well, it's not really a 1 year ownership review, but I was running out of content, so here you go. And I've just ticked over 1,576 miles, I think it is, so nearly 1,600 miles, which is more miles than most people do on these things in like 3 years of ownership. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you will know that I adore this little thing. And if you've been watching the channel for at least sort of 6 to 8 months, this video will be in a very similar vein to my 30,000 mile review on my KTM Super Adventure. So in very typical YouTuber fashion, in this video I will go through my pros, my cons, my cost of ownership. Before I get on the road, if you want a very short synopsis, it's very basic, it's got naffle power, but it's hilarious, and yes, I would buy it again because it's the funniest thing I own. If you've got an attention span that is not moulded by TikTok, that's the oldest thing I've ever said, then stick around and watch the rest of the video. Right, let's get on the road. There we go, 1,576 miles. Beast. Little charger on. There's my phone charging. Happy days. As I mentioned a minute ago, it's very, very much a 125. And what I mean by that is, it's a basic bike, it has bugger all power, it has front ABS only, not rear ABS, and it's very, very simple because they are £4,000 on the road, or plus on the road. It's about £4,000 anyway. So first thing I really, really love about the Monkey is how lightweight it is, which means when you park it like this and you go, oh, that's really difficult, I've got to go that way, you do this, and you just do that. It's 104 kilos or something like that, so you can literally just lift it up and turn it around as you want. It's hilarious fun. Check mirror signal. Maneuver! Before I properly get into this, off-road is where I love using this bike. It is so funny to use it off-road because it just skips over everything. Good man. I appreciate you. He's picking up loads and loads of litter because it's just like everything gets dumped around here, so fair play to you, mate. 2021 onwards models are 5-speed. They are all ludicrously powerful at 9 horsepower. It has a very, very simple dash. You have a speed, you have a fuel gauge, you have your total miles or odometer, and you have trip A, trip B. That is it. Essentially anyone can ride it. You can ride it on a CBT if you really want to. Top speed from factory, it's about 55-60 mile an hour if you're lucky. Before I changed the sprocket, I had everything up to like 71 mile an hour showing on the dashboard. That was laying on a tank going downhill behind a van. So yeah, I'm not going to count that. This bike on a motorway or a dual carriageway gets very, very boring very, very quickly, and you do feel quite small on it. In the city, on small little B roads, any little scratchy little roads like this, it's absolutely fantastic. It is such a good laugh. It is so light and nimble that going through traffic in London is the easiest thing ever. In full transparency, I've said this a couple of times before, but in full transparency, I was thinking about getting rid of this bike after a year. I bought it for YouTube as a bit of a laugh. I'll use it for a little bit, make some content, and then I'll get rid of it. Was fully expecting it to be like a bit of a joke. Never really fall for the bike, never really enjoy riding the bike. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you would have seen Joe and I doing that little delivery up to Mike. We were racing around the roads, obviously easily in legal limits, cutting each other up, stamping on the rear brake and skidding and all sorts of stuff. My abs were hurting, my eyes were aching, my throat was dry and sore. It was like 2 hours of just relentless belly laughing, like proper from the bottom of your gut. And that sort of sums this bike up. It's made me, this is going to sound really cliche, but it's properly made me fall in love with a bike. There's often that I go into the garage at the weekend, and I'm thinking about going for a ride, and I will bring the monkey keys instead of the Super Adventure keys, because it's obviously based on a retro classic. It gets so much attention everywhere, from bikers to non-bikers to just elderly people that used to ride bikes or used to know of monkey bikes. People adore it, like absolutely adore it. The other thing that's brilliant about it is because it's so small, you just park it wherever you want. I regularly park it on the pavement at bike stop, kind of to leave space for a bigger bike to pull in on the actual motorcycle parking, but also because it's funny. It was parked on the pavement on a busy Saturday. There were so many bikes there that there was no space, so I parked at the pavement. 2 traffic wardens walking along, they looked at the bike and just went, didn't even think about giving me a ticket, didn't look for a number plate or anything like that, they just looked at it and laughed, and then carried on walking. I normally jump off that, but I won't because there's a man there. Let me come to a stop quickly. I'd ordered one from my local Honda dealer, and 3 months in they still couldn't tell me what colour I was getting. Obviously not their fault, but they just get a batch of monkey bikes delivered to them, and that's it. Mr. Ollie Ray, who's one of the Patreons, found one in stock, unregistered, at Paget's Honda up in Leeds. I got Emma to drive me up there, I went and bought it, and I rode 200 and something miles back through the Peak District. Because I went through the Peak District and because I was faffing around and taking photos and videoing and all sorts of stuff, that ride took me like 7 or 8 hours. It was a long old ride. So I was fully expecting to get home a broken man. But the seat is probably like 6 or 7 inches thick, or 15 inches if Emma's watching this. It's incredibly comfy, like very, very comfy, very, very padded. It's not too soft though, so you don't sort of sink into it. Surprisingly, you've got loads of space to move around on it as well. So like I can sit right over the front of it, or I can sit right over the back wheel. The position is like you're just sitting on a chair. I got home and I was like, actually, I feel completely fine. Like I feel no different to if I was on my Super Adventure. I've never got off it and gone, oh, like that kind of thing. Never. It's so comfy. Oh, there's a car coming, so I'm just going to pull in here. If you haven't noticed, there's no rear ABS. My rear tyre is very square. I had to. Like, it was a legal requirement. I was told that I have to do a burnout to round the tyre off. I'll get onto this subject properly in a minute, but one of the big pros of this bike is that the cost of running the bike and the maintenance is ridiculously cheap and ridiculously easy. Doing the chain tension on this bike is laughable. It is so easy to do. It's air cooled, so you haven't got any coolant to top up. Tyre pressures are really easy. They've got little right angle valves on them and everything, although those valves are a little bit flimsy, but it kind of doesn't really matter. Pop, 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 pop. Right, let's get on to the negatives, shall we? Now, there are a few negatives on this bike. I'm not going to focus too heavily on the power. If you have any 125 and you're doing 60 mile an hour and you want to overtake a car, it's not happening. You go and overtake someone that's doing sort of 40 in a 60 and they gently accelerate in their car and you can't get past them. That's the same with any 125 really. Same thing with hills. If you're doing 55 mile an hour and you go up a hill, you will crest the hill doing 40. One thing I have found as a slight issue, I guess, is because it's got 12 or 13 inch wheels, I can't remember which one it is, which means that your tyre choice is very, very limited. I'm currently running Kenda Big Blocks. There are a few different variations of road tyre, but you've got maybe 5 or 6 road tyres to choose from at tops. A big plus for me though is that the tyres that I've currently got fitted, I think I paid 84 quid for, like for the pair. Which is like, I'm used to paying 130 quid for a front tyre on the Super Adventure, and it means you don't mind as much when you're stamping on the rear brake and squaring them off. Oh, it's a 20 mile an hour zone. I'm just going to nip through here. One thing that did really bug me when I bought the bike is that I was having to adjust the chain every 100 miles. I can't remember what the width of the stock chain is, but it gets loose very, very quickly. I upgraded that to a DID chain, so that's made it way better. It means I have to adjust it every 500 miles maybe. Ashwell, Morden, Royston, Cambridge. The only other negative is that the battery is minuscule. I'm sure it's about a third of the size of a normal bike battery. The battery's not awful. I've got heated grips on this bike. It's currently charging my phone and a GoPro battery in here off of like a little USB charger thing I bought for it. It's run my heated gloves and heated jacket before. I try not to run too much off it because I think the regulator rectifier will probably fry itself. Beautiful, beautiful summer's afternoon. Nearly summer's afternoon. I've never had it like struggle to start or anything like that, although the starter motor makes a weird noise sometimes. It makes like a whirr kind of noise. Don't know why, but it's only when it's cold. The headlight's a bit crap. Out of the factory, it was quite badly adjusted, so it's pointing up too far. Having said that, now I've adjusted it, it's not that bad. It is all LED, which is great, but I have quite regularly contemplated getting some Denali's or something. The reason I haven't done yet is because I'm not sure whether the battery's going to run it. Going back to the battery problem. I think that's basically it for the negatives, so there really aren't that many. Most of them pertain to the fact that it's quite a small bike, or a very small bike with no power. To not bore you all incessantly, I'll quickly go over the cost of ownership for me. We've already discussed buying the bike, that's £4 pretty much on the road. I have myself a service package on this bike. I think it was 149 quid and I just got Honda to throw it in. Those kids have turned around to come and look at my bike because I just did a mad skidgeo. So far I've not spent a single penny servicing this bike. So I highly recommend you get that. If I hadn't got that, it's a 125, so the servicing is dirt cheap anyway. I don't actually know. I'll probably check with Honda before I upload this video and put it on screen maybe. Insurance for me, the first year was £370. You do have time to think between, I'm pinned at the moment, and you do have time to think between gear changes. Do I want to go up to 4th? I think I might want to go up to 4th, you know. No, I think I won't. Something I've learned in the past week or so, that I would recommend heavily modifying this bike, or any bike you own. The Patreons will already know what this is, but I won't go into detail just yet. But it turns out, if you heavily modify your bike, grind stuff off the chassis and all sorts of stuff, it makes it half the price to insure it. So what I have got planned on this bike, shout out to username Kate for this, but Bikeshaw have just quoted me £184 a year for 4,000 miles in a lock garage with a ridiculous amount of modifications. Tax or vehicle exercise duty, I think it's actually called, was £24, which Tim Rohde pointed out is actually more per cc than my Super Adventurers, which is very true. But yeah, £24 for a year, even riding flat out everywhere, I still get 120 mpg. This tank is 5 litres, so basically a UK gallon, and I get about 100 to 120 miles out of a tank without the reserve flashing. I'm probably getting close to 130, 140 mpg, and that is me pinning it absolutely everywhere. When I first got the bike, I filled up at a petrol station that had a minimum payment of £5. It had 2 bars of fuel left, so it wasn't empty. So I put premium fuel in, and it came to like £4.48. And I went into the shop, and the bloke went, "It's a minimum payment of £5." And I went, "Well, the bike's full. What do you want me to do? Ride around the forecourt for an hour so I can put another £1 in?" Hello. She was loving it. Riding the 228 miles, I think it was, back from Leeds. Honda had put like half a tank in, and I think I spent £8, which is just hilarious. Right, I'm going to have to stop and change Beatrice. Cocaine! So everybody, thought I'd just stop, change my batteries on my GoPros, stare right into the sun so you guys get blinded. Lovely. As you've probably guessed from this entire video, this bike, as I mentioned, was going to be a bit of a meh. I'll keep it for a year and just get rid of it. I've said this many times on this channel now. This thing is not going anywhere. I adore this thing. The only negative for me, really, like the only actual thing that pisses me off a little bit with it, is that it won't do sort of 70 mile an hour. The Patreons will know that soon it will easily do 70 mile an hour. I will leave that to you guys in the comments to discuss what you think I'm doing to it. If you do know what's coming, don't post it on the comments. I probably should turn the ignition off because it's so expensive on fuel. That was my 1 year, 1500 mile review on this bike. I don't think I missed anything. If you've got any other questions or things that I haven't answered, stick them in the comments below and I'll see if I can get back to you on them. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, primarily because this thing's about to get even more ridiculous. And I'll see you in next week's video. Bye.